Hi guys, good morning. Happy Mother's Day. Gosh, I spontaneously get to introduce our speaker today, which I'm super happy about. This woman I've seen come in and really struggle and go through life and really get this, fucking hard. She's accepted, she's powerless over alcohol and drugs, and her life has been anything but easy, but super remarkable. And I have a few stories, few stories for you. She was sitting next to me at the nooner one day and she's like, "Hey, you want to get a tattoo after the meeting?" I'm like, "Yeah." And so we went and got matching tattoos. And it was for suicide prevention awareness, and it was for a good cause. One of our good friends died, an alcoholic death. So yeah, and she has brought forth some high dignity, and I respect you a lot, April. So there we go.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna need that. Because I mean, it's a God thing to be a mother of three and to be able to speak on this Mother's Day. My name is April, and I'm an alcoholic. My birth date is August 2nd of 2016, which if you do the math, I was fully pregnant at that time. So it's just part of that story. Thank you for sharing with me or sharing with everyone that story. There's one more too. If there's one thing I remember about early sobriety is I was scared to come in to these rooms and be fucking boring. Excuse my language. Don't tell my sponsor. But I was at dinner with somebody and he told me he was going to go home and read a book and go to bed. And I was like, oh my God, that sounds so lame. And this is what I signed up for, like voluntarily. I'm so glad that that's just not the case. And Diana was actually a pivotal part in that. I was had a new mom and just had my baby, and she took me out clubbing. And one thing, and I still do it to this day, one thing to know if you ever go do that with your sober friends is that if you get on that dance floor and you just shake your tail feather, they think you're drunk. They think you're drunk. So, I mean, why not? Right? You're there, so do it. And man, that was just a pivotal time for me because I could still live, in sobriety. And I didn't know that was a possibility at that time. I mean, it was early sobriety, right? So, I was born in Heilbronn, Germany. I always tell people that it's spelled out Hellborn, and I was just, destined to be a rebel, I guess. And, I was brought up in a split home, which that in itself provided a lot of obstacles for young kids to go through. Me in particular, I learned how to manipulate and how to use and how to fly under the radar so I wouldn't get in too much trouble because it was easy with a single mom, right? That's how I functioned and how I got away with stuff for so long. It being Mother's Day, again, happy Mother's Day to those mothers out there, those who have living babies and those who don't. Have like the ones that have passed, because that's a real thing. And I want to honor those women because it matters. Anyways, so yeah, I had no structure and I loved it that way so much. Like I remember, going on road trips with grandma and her telling me to like reach in the back and get her a beer and like grabbing one for myself too, you know, as we're driving down. It was the road cooler. Like you guys know the road cooler. I was taught from a very young age, you make sure you have yours. And then you should be good. So, you know, I learned real quick that you just take care of yourself. Let's see. And the fact that as a product of a split household, you know, I learned things, I like attention. I think as a kid, any kid likes attention. And I found that having not a lot of direction or a lot of people in my life, bad attention. I got attention when I did things bad, not necessarily when I did things good. You know, I could do good at school, but would anybody be there to like see and like say, "Good job, April"? No, fuck no, no. So, but I knew that if I did stuff bad, that I would get that attention that I seeked. And it was never good attention, right? It came with consequence. Um, you know, I share this story because it's a very pivotal story about seeking that bad behavior or seeking that attention in bad ways. And you know, I lied once when I was a kid that could have put this guy in jail for a very long time. And I say that because, you know, I just went through something like that the last 2 weeks of my life. And it was just like an eye opener of the damage that we can cause drunk and sober, you know, that I had no reason to. Anyways, and I think why I say all that stuff is because this is the stuff that I came in here with. You know, this is the stuff that I was so shameful about that I didn't want to tell anyone because if you knew, you wouldn't want to fucking hang out with me either. You know, I couldn't hang out with myself either. Like I wanted to escape my own mind too. You know, I put myself in thousands of risky situations. I think it was mostly due to ignorance. But like going to keggers where you're the only woman there. And, you know, I got my sponsor during one of these meetings and she said something that really hit home with me. And she's like, I was that girl that would walk into the room and all you'd have to do is bop her on her head and her pants would fall off. And I was like, I want her. That's the one. She is for me and I am for her. And we've been together since, to be honest with you. She's been by my side. This program is, I mean, I can't even say enough about this program, but which I will, obviously, but she's shown up for me in ways that I didn't even know a human being could show up for you. And she's given me a new life and then a new opportunity to I shouldn't say a new opportunity, but an opportunity to be a good mom and a good daughter. And she did that through attraction rather than promotion. She showed me how to show up. And God, that's you can't put a price on that. So that being said, from a young age, I lost my great grandmother and then both of my grandparents on my dad's side at the same time. And if anything, that gave me life is short mentality. So live life wild and free for as long as you freaking can. And it's hard because I still feel like that. So I really have to really reel that in a little bit. But you know, it's turned its and gave me a different perspective nowadays to where it's like being grateful and in the moment, like this program has taught me to be where your hands are. And even if it's doing the freaking dishes, because that's hard for me, like doing basic tasks for me, even in early sobriety. And still today, I can get into depression and self-pity and low self-worth and, you know, just fear. And it really just, thank God for God, you know, it gets me and outside help, which has been pivotal for me. You know, I kind of to qualify me a little bit, I was raised in Phillipsburg, Montana. I don't know if you guys know where that's at, but it's pretty small. I love how I was just talking earlier about trying to evade the police in Peaburg, Montana. I don't know if you guys, you can't. You just can't. Like, unless you want to go around in circles like really fast, like you ain't going nowhere. So, I was born and raised there. I did a lot of damage over there. I was on probation for drinking and getting on top of the Sweet Palace and busting out all the dang Christmas lights. It wasn't Christmas. That was the reason. But they weren't hearing it. And what else did I do? Oh yeah. Don't egg Phillipsburg and buy the eggs in Phillipsburg. Like they check the cameras. Didn't know that. Again, on probation. But I didn't really care. Like again, I didn't have anyone at home that was directing me or giving a fuck about what I was doing. So that was all right. I mean, it was for I don't know. I'm not trying to get into self-pity. I'm really glad for the life experiences that I had. I'm so glad. And I do want to say that no matter what I say about my family, I have forgiven and I love them so fucking much. Like not only did Rosie teach me how to be a woman and a mother, but so did my mom. Like I couldn't have gotten through the last 2 weeks of my life if I didn't see my mom's grit. She taught me how to survive. There was this one time that I was driving from Peaburg to Drummond because I like to drink and drive. I don't know if any of you guys did, but and I got pulled over. And it's such a small town that, they said, April, get out of the car. Well, I said, okay. Yes, officer. Again, a brownout. And I got out of the car and he came back and he said, where you go? Or he said, he went back to his car. He came back. He's like, get back in your car and get to where you're going. Anyways, I said that story wrong. First, he pulled me over. He asked me where I was going. I said, I'm going to Drummond. He's like, okay, well, get there and stay there. I said, okay. He pulled me over again, same traffic stat, like 100 yards away, maybe. Made me get out of the car and said, since I was standing straight, but I was doing those foxhole prayers, so I figured that was what really got me standing straight, because other than that, I have no idea. And he's like, okay, you need to get in the car and go. So I did. I mean, I did what I was told. Because I didn't want to go to jail. It still didn't stop me though. I didn't have any huge repercussions besides, a little bit here and a little bit there. I think it's not that I didn't invite it though, because I remember there at the end of my drinking that I remember screaming at the steering wheel, banging on it, saying, somebody fucking pulled me over. Somebody stop me. Somebody. And that just never happened. But so it's not like I didn't try. Let's see. Shortly thereafter, I got kicked out, got beat, because I came home high, and my mom knew exactly where I was headed. So she kicked me out, and I went straight to my boyfriend's house because he was going to save me, which he didn't. His house was no better than mine, and I soon went back home, got kicked out again. And the way I say this is because it's really easy for me to come into places and say, have people say, you're not welcome, except for AA. AA has been the only place that I've come into where you guys don't tell me to leave. You guys don't tell me, get the fuck out. And it's been life-changing for someone like me, So yeah, I got kicked out of my house again. Um, that time my mom and stepdad were going at it, and I just had enough. You know, I had the bat by the door, still do, in my house. Um, and I had enough, and mom was on my stepdad that day, and he wasn't having it, and neither was I, and she told me to get my pup, pack my shit, and get out, so I did. Meanwhile, like, of course, I mean, this whole time I'm freaking drinking. Like, my brother's 2 years older than me. He worked in the restaurant business. And in Peaburg, to be honest with you, if you just knew a high school teacher, like, they'd get it for you. You know, like on a personal level, actually, technically, it was the janitor, but I mean, I mean, whatever. In Anaconda, though, it was the teacher. So I wasn't lying. See, and then, yeah, I got kicked out that time, and then I moved straight to Anaconda, where I lived with a family for a little while that, was good and dandy up until, I came home. I was out drinking one night, and my dog got ran over. And this guy's came out of Warm Springs, who was her husband. When I moved in, he wasn't there, but he got out, and he came home, and my dog got ran over, and he proceeded to get the gun after getting um uh going to the emergency vet for the dog. And I was not in no way, shape, or form able to fend off a newly released Warm Springs gentleman with a loaded gun. So I picked up my dog and went outside and promptly jumped the fence and back to where I came from, which was a party. So, um, just I don't know why I'm saying all that. Maybe it's because to let you know the fact that in my drinking career, I put myself in so many situations um, out of reckless abandon in hopes to die. Um, and I still can get there. But luckily today, sobriety has given me a life and hope. To somebody like me, having a little bit of hope is a big deal. No, I don't want to stay on that for too long. I finished school finally and moved to Georgia, brought a boy back. And then started my drinking career because that boy that I moved in with in high school died up at Discovery, and life is short. So that's where I promptly found out about the shower beer, and I got the cooler for the car. And just I don't even know how I survived, to be honest with you. But I did. I survived long enough to get into these rooms. What ended up happening at the end there is that I was about to move with a guy to Oregon, and I knew what that meant. It meant that I would have to give my body away for rent yet again, and I was not ready to do that. I didn't want to do that. I was so empty and a shell of a person that I couldn't do that. So I went to my mom's work, which was she was working at the Granite County Medical Center, and I asked for help, and she luckily did not tell me or ask me what I was doing or who I was doing it with or what I had done. Because I don't think I could have been honest with her. I wasn't honest with myself. I think we were just talking about how I can have a really magnificent forgetter. And it's one of the best, I think. And it's helpful, but it's not when you have to like look back and think about the actual genuineness of the situation that you've come from, to give yourself enough credit and depth to what you've been through. So, she brought me straight to the ER, and then I went, luckily they had a bed at the RCM when it was still running. And there they introduced me to two things. They introduced me to you guys and athlete's feet. Did not know about either of those until I went there. And man, thank God for that, because I came from a long line of alcoholics, and man, we were proud, and we still are. I mean, they still are. Granted, they get a little weird when I'm around, but I mean, I don't know why. I mean, I tried to tell them, but it's their conscience. I don't know. I've given up trying to take credit for whatever the hell they got going on for themselves. But yeah, so they introduced me to you guys, and I found my sponsor here. I had like 3 or 4 sponsors before finding Rosie, and man, thank God for them. But thank God for Rosie, because when I got her, I think I was like 1 or 2 months pregnant, and found a guy at the coffee cup washing station, and just thought he was God's gift to me. And then fell pregnant. But you know, I gained a lovely daughter from that, who is testing and trying me at every corner and every turn, and thank God for that, because I get to show up for that girl in every way that I can, in ways that I've never had done to me. Like, I get to learn how to be an amazing mom, and it wouldn't have been that way if I wasn't able to be honest, like you guys taught me. I went through college during that time, got in a relationship, one of the worst relationships of my life, but it did give me 2 beautiful babies because of it. God, you know, just because we get sober doesn't mean we get right. And there's some things that in that relationship I can only contribute it to God that I've gotten through, and you guys are the ones that introduced me to this God that got me through some of the toughest times. I was falsely accused of some horrific things, and I had to walk with my daughter through that and love her. And believe me, everything in me wanted to cut and run. I didn't want to do that. But you guys showed me to suit up and show up, no matter what. And the mothers in this room showed me to do everything, like to stand by them. Like, it's a whole new realm of mother's love. You know, to be accused of something like that and to walk with your child through that. And obviously it come out great, right? The truth prevails, thank God. And to constantly turn it over. If anything, that was the one thing that got me through the last 2 weeks, is the constant turning it over to God. Being like, I don't know what's going to happen. I was facing very real and very serious consequences due to a lie. And I stayed sober through it. Maybe not sane, but sure sober. And I didn't want to, and I reached out, and I called, and I got quiet, and I sought God. Because anything that I've known about sobriety is that people are fallible, and people in these rooms will let you down. It's not means that they're not good people, and I've done it. I've let people down. But this program has taught me to be better than the version of me that I was yesterday. And you guys have shown me that you guys can do that same thing. Thank God. I really wish everybody was like that, but also with drinking and alcoholism, this is a family disease. And through alcoholism, I've had to do some really hard things this last couple months too. I had to tell my brother that he's no longer able to watch my kids alone because he passed out on the couch while watching my baby. And I got to do that with grace and love and a little bit of fuck you. But I mean, as as God's people, we don't kneel before anyone. So I get to like be strong. You guys have taught me how to be honest with where I'm at every day, all day. And God, I don't know. Like I could go on more and more, but I think for me, with my sobriety journey, what saved my life and what continues to save my life is to understand that I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And I'm humble enough to know that and to let you guys know that because it keeps me coming back. Because not only do I not know, but I know you guys do. You guys do know how to walk through life and these hard things with grace and with hope. And I keep coming back and I keep getting honest and like raw honest. And I keep trying like that. I don't know what it's like. I'm almost a glutton for this punishment, man, because I know there's a solution and it's shown me, and I know that I can do good things. Like it provides me an option to choose to get out of my shit, to have a light life, and it's as long as I pick it up, right? I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about if I did a good job and if there's anything I missed, but really, to be honest with you, all I can think about is my babies. We're about to go on a trip and I'm really excited. My mom's getting married to a guy who's in my phone as Guy because I don't know him and nor do I want to. But he's soon to be a part of my family, so I guess I should. And I get to go over there and show up for my mom this next week and with my kids, and I'm so grateful. I'm probably going to be calling a bunch of you women on how to conduct myself in life's situations, because man, I came in here with barely any tools, and you guys, man, anything that I have right now is contributed to you guys. My stubbornness is mine. You guys can't have that one, but anything else you guys definitely give me. I'm gonna probably wrap it up because I'm gonna keep rambling for no good reason. I mean, I like it when people just when they anyways, thank you.
So he paid.